Hello, let's talk about consumer behavior. So, when we discuss consumer behavior, what we relate to? We relate to mind. Mind is about invisible. And in life, invisible is very important, like trust, like love. Various attempts have been made to understand the invisible, that is a mind. And somebody has said that it is like a blind man entering into a dark room and that is blindfolded and is looking for a black cat which is not there. This is a genesis of invisible mind, and in fact the modern science is just scratching the surface of mind. Now, if we go back into the Indian philosophy, I will take you to the spirituality. So, long time back in Vedas, in Upanishad, they have talked about what are the functions of mind. And these functions of mind are performing the four functions, that is, Man, Budhi, Chit, and Ahankar. Now let us understand what is Man. Man is nothing but thinking. Right now, you may be attending this session, but then the mind can wander anywhere. It has the capacity to do that. So that is what is the thinking in the way you would like to. Next is Buddhi. Buddhi is about selection and discrimination. So if somebody wants to aspires to take a good education, so he selects and discriminates that this is the education area, that is what he would like to enter into. Next is Chit. Chit is about contemplation. It is about visualization. It is to take it further, right? So how you are going to do it? You want a good education? So which education? How much efforts that you are going to spend? How you are going to update yourself? That is a contemplation. That is about the visualization. And the next is Ahankar. Ahankar is nothing but it is identification. That it's you who is going to do it. I'm sure by now you would have liked my session, and please press the like button, and we are going to discuss about the consumer behavior. So what is consumer behavior? Again, it is related to the mind, but then it is related to the mind of a consumer. And if the marketer understands the mind of the consumer, he can be considered to be a great marketer. So, consumer behavior is about the process or activities into the way the consumer search, select, consume, use, and dispose the products and services. This is the consumer behavior. So now if you look into the consumer behavior, there is one very powerful figure that I would like you to remember. It is about the stimuli. So stimuli, there is a marketing stimuli, there is an environment stimuli. So marketing stimuli can be in form of the communication, in the form of the advertisements, in the form of digital advertisements, in the form of digital communication. Marketing stimuli can be in the form of a product, the features of the product, the benefit of the product, the value that product can offer. It is about the price, it is about the discounts, it is the way you consider the deal. So product, price, place and promotion, the way it is availability of the product, that is related to the consumer, the marketing stimuli. Then there is the environmental stimuli. So for example, look into the present case of COVID. So COVID has led to an impact, and it is very important that the marketer recognizes this environmental stimuli. So now it is evident that consumers are looking for a healthy option. Consumers are looking for a safety. So your stores has to be designed in a safe manner. Consumers are looking for products which can offer immunity. Consumers are looking for products which can provide them good health benefits. So it is the onus or the responsibility is on the marketer to do that. So this is about the stimuli, and then it also involves the consumer psychology. So what we include in the consumer psychology, we start with motivation. What is the drive for a consumer to associate with the product? So there can be a drive in the form of a rational drive, or there can be emotional drive. There can be also be the objective. The objective can be a generic objective, or the objective can be a product specific objective. Somebody can say that I want to do a very good education, but then a product specific objective can be that he wants to do an education from particular institute. That is a product specific objective. So generic objective can be he wants to have a car, or he wants to own an electric vehicle. But when it is related to a brand or with a particular product, then it is a product related objective. There are also, the dimensions with regard to the approach or avoidance. For example, now, motivation theories. So Maslow has contributed in the form of a motivation. He has talked about the hierarchy of needs. So first, there is a physiological need. Then if physiological needs are satisfied, then we move to a safety needs, then to a affiliation, then to a self-esteem, and then to a achieving your larger potential. So this is all about the motivation. And then we also look into the perception. Perception is about how the consumers, the select organizes and interprets, analyzes various information to form a meaningful picture. It is about why people give attention in the form of a selective exposure. It is about how people or how the consumers are looking into certain advertisements which may be related to the current need, or where the stimuli is higher, right, which draws the attention. So this is about the perception. It is also about the selective distortion, the way the consumer tries to consider the information which matches with their preconceptions. So this is the perception is a very, very interesting field. It's a very fascinating field. And now we are going to look into the learning. Learning theory is how the people or how the consumers change the behavior. So learning happens in a real manner. Learning happens in a kind of a natural setting. People learn through experience. People learn through cognition because of their capacity, because of their understanding. So all these factors, that is a cognition, is also the way people can learn. Learning can also happen through experiences, different kind of experiences. Learning can happen due to different kind of situations, and learning can also happen due to the social interactions. You meet your friends and your friends tell you that this is what you do it. Maybe you are tempted to look into your friend's suggestion. So that is about the learning. Now there are various theories of learning, and now I am going to show you this video. I am going to have my favorite dog whom I lost, Sheru. So this is a tribute to to my favorite dog. And I mean, through this experiment, through the act of a dog which is in a very natural manner, and which is with the objective to bring the perspective of learning, we are going to show this video. So please look into this video of learning through exercise by my dog Sheru. So let's watch now the video. So here is a Sheru. He's looking for a ball. Let's see whether he's able to find it or not. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Oh wow, that's great. You have done it. Want more? He wants more. He got the ball. That's a gift, treat for him. Yes. One more? Let's have it. Okay. Thank you. I hope you would have enjoyed or looked at the video. Now this video, there was a very interesting experiment which was performed by Pavlov. So Pavlov performed the experiment in which he had 4 elements. These 4 elements are unconditioned stimulus, conditioned stimulus, unconditioned response, conditioned response. So what is unconditioned stimulus? Unconditioned stimulus is a food which is kept. What is conditioned stimulus? Conditioned stimulus is a bell which is paired with the food, right? And what is the response? Conditioned response, there is a salivation from dog. Okay, that is, there is a dog is hungry, is showing that hunger. Okay, and he wants to satiate his hunger. That is his response. And there is another experiment, or there is another theory which is known as a operant theory of learning. In the operant theory, it is related to reward. Reward, again, it can be a positive reward or it can be a negative reward. So there is a positive reinforcement, and again, if that is followed, there is a reinforcement, right? Now we have combined these 2 experiments together. So what I am doing is, I am telling my dog to go outside. So that is what kind of a stimulus it is there? So you can say that it is a unconditioned stimulus. And what is the conditioned stimulus? I am there is a ball which I am hiding, and there is a sound of that ball. Now what is the response? What is the likely response? That my dog Sheru will be finding that ball which will be kept somewhere. Okay, after he finds, what is that I am going to do? I am going to reward with a biscuit. So that is a positive reinforcement, right? So that if reward is provided, he can do that act again. Okay, now you see how the interest with which he has done this act of learning. Maybe we also need to imbibe that. We also need to consider that the way Sheru was so excited, to find that ball. Similarly, we should also be excited to know more about the consumer behavior. Marketer should also be excited to know more about the consumer, because if the marketer if understands the consumer, that's what is a considered as an ideal situation. Okay, so that's what the intention of this experiment. And then there is a consumer characteristics. Consumer characteristics we can see from the standpoint of the personal characteristics, of the social characteristics, and of the cultural characteristics, which results into a kind of the different stages into the consumer characteristics. What is consumer characteristics? Consumer characteristics is about the personal characteristics, about his age, about his economical status. It's about the lifestyle, it's about the life stage, it's about the personality, right? Then we also include the cultural characteristics. What are the cultural characteristics? It is about the culture, a specific culture. There is also element of subculture, how a particular culture in a maybe in a given location, or if you go into deep, how it differs from other. So that gives a kind of identification for a particular type of a culture, right? And then we also need to look into the social characteristics, the social status, the reference groups, the opinion leaders, the role of a family, right? And that's where we try to differentiate into the different roles that the family can play. That is a family of orientation and family of procreation. So family of orientation is about what we learn from our parents, right? And family of procreation is about your brothers and then your children. Okay, that is family of procreation. It's also about opinion leaders. There are certain people who influence other. So this we include into the social characteristics. And then very important, that is the stages of purchase. So it starts with a need identification, then it looks into the information, how you are going to get the information, whether internal information, whether the external information, how much weightage you give to your own information, how you give weightage to the external information, right? Then how you are going to evaluate the alternate. So that is where the expectancy value model will come into the play. So there are two different models, that is the compensatory decision making and non-compensatory decision making, how you are going to evaluate the alternatives. Then there is a purchase, that is a purchase decision, and there is a post-purchase behavior. So post-purchase, you are satisfied, you are not satisfied. There is also a tendency where you have purchased a product, but then there is some other information, whether it is a good, bad or ugly about that product. Somebody gives some piece of information. So if it is not matching with what you have intended, then there is a dissonance, and that dissonance is called as a cognitive dissonance. Framing, there is a heuristics, there is a thumb rule, how people use the thumb rule, how people have the mental maps, how people use the framing. Interesting field, it's a fascinating field. If a marketer can understand consumer behavior, I think it's an ideal situation. So our attempt is to understand the consumer in the best way that we could do. Thank you very much.